moment of inertia. Okay, so we will be starting with module 4. This belongs to module 4, part B. Okay, so part A is centroid and part B is moment of inertia. Right now, for moment of inertia, the prerequisite is centroid, CG. Without finding the CG of a particular figure, I will not be able to find its MI. Moment of inertia is also called as MI, right? So without CG, I cannot find the MI. So for all the numericals that we are going to do here in moment of inertia, we have to find the CG, and with respect to CG, they find the MI. So what you studied in module 4 part A, CG, becomes the first step when you're doing MI. There are some numericals wherein without CG we can directly find the MI. Those will be the smaller ones. But actually, in reality, if I want to find the MI, it is important for me to know the center of gravity of that particular figure, right? So this is moment of inertia. Now, what is moment of inertia? Anybody any idea? Okay. Analysis of stresses. Now, what is this? We know that, especially, say, I'm background is civil engineering, so I'll give you a civil engineering example. So we are aware of Newton's third law, that is, for every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. So when there is a beam, okay, and there is load applied on the beam, P is the load applied that on the beam. Now this load becomes the action on the beam, okay. The load is acting as an action on the beam. So the beam is going to bend like this, right? It will try to bend or it will not bend, or so this bending, when it is bending, there are stresses developed, right? So that stresses developed are called as the reactions. So your Newton's third law, for every action there is equal and opposite reaction, holds good even over here, or from Newton's third law only this is derived. For every action there is going to be some kind of reactions. Now these reactions that are developed in beams, we call them as shear forces or bending moments. We'll not get into depth of that. But there are some kind of stresses that are going to be developed. You all are aware of stresses? So stress you have learned, I think. What is stress? Can anyone tell me? There is a formula for stress.
F by F.
Force per unit area.
You see, what is stress?
Ma'am, not audible.
Okay. So yes, as Shifa said, stress is load by area or force by area. We know the definition. And stresses, when I talk of a beam, because of the load, the stress is going to be developed in the beam, right? So when we do the design, as a civil engineer, design of beams and design of columns or slabs, right? These stresses become important for us, right? So there is something called as analysis of stresses. I have to analyze what kind of stress, how much is a permissible allowed stress, how much is the maximum stress that can be permitted, right? So analysis of stress. So when we are doing this analysis of stress, that time moment of inertia comes into picture, right? So moment of inertia is specially used for analysis of stresses. Clear? So here is where we are going to make use of moment of inertia. Now coming to moment of inertia, so the term says moment, right? So tell me, what is moment of a force? You all have studied, no? Moment of a force, can anyone tell me what is moment of a force? Can you recall? Moment of a force? Okay. M is given by F into D. Remember? Force into the perpendicular distance this is. This is force into the perpendicular distance. That is the moment. So if I have a point here and there is a force acting over here, if I ask you to find the moment of this force about this point O, I'll drop a exact perpendicular from that point to this line, and force into this perpendicular distance will give me the moment about this point O. Right? So moment is always force into perpendicular distance. This becomes moment of a force. If I tell you moment of area, okay, moment of area. So there is some area and there is a point here, say O. I have to take the moment of this area about this point. So I will have to drop a perpendicular or get a perpendicular distance from the area to the point where I'm taking, and moment of that area is going to be area into the perpendicular distance. Okay, area into the perpendicular distance. This is moment of a area. So when we come to moment of inertia, right? When I'm talking of moment of inertia, right? So when we talk of moment of inertia, it is defined as it is the second moment of area. Okay, it is called as the second moment of area. What does second moment of area mean? Any guesses? General guesses. Now I said moment of area is going to be area into perpendicular distance d. Second moment of area matlab, this is first moment of area, right? A into d. Again I'll multiply it by d. 2 times I'll multiply it by d. A into d is first moment of area. This into d again becomes the second moment of area. That is nothing but moment of inertia. So definition, if they ask you for 1 or 2 marks, then moment of inertia is also known as second moment of area, which is used for analysis of stresses in beams, especially in strength of materials. So if there are any civil or mechanical students, they will have the strength of materials, most important basic subject, core subject in 3rd semester. So this will be used there in strength of material. That is, we'll be studying the properties of the material. Okay. This MI is also used for analysis of pressure. So analysis of pressure in submerged objects. Okay. So when we are dealing with submerged objects and the pressure related to submarine, say submarine is inside the water, so there is pressure because of the water. So when we are studying about that, the pressure related to that time we deal with MI, that is moment of inertia. This is the introductory part of definition, or in basic what is moment of inertia. Now as we had derived equations for CG, we'll have to derive here also. First, let us find the generalized formula for moment of inertia. So moment of inertia, okay, of a plane area. Moment of inertia of a plane area. So the figure goes like this. We'll have, say, x and y axis. Consider x and y axis, and consider a particular rigid body. In that, let us consider an elemental area like this. So this is elemental area dA. I'll write it here. Elemental area. This is dA. Now this elemental area will have a CG, center of gravity, anywhere, right? So I'll mark this as CG. Now if I want to know the CG points of this, I know that from here it is going to be at x bar distance. From here it is going to be at y bar distance. Correct? X bar distance and y bar distance are its coordinates, CG's coordinates. Okay, so CG coordinates are x bar and y bar for that elemental area. Correct? Now x and y are your Cartesian coordinates. So we'll have polar coordinates also. So polar coordinates, I'll draw it from this z axis. So this is z axis, and it will be called as r. Polar coordinates, that is r. So this is x, this is y. Polar coordinates is r, and this is the dA, that is elemental area. The entire area of this is going to be a, entire area of the object. Now moment of inertia, say when I want to find the MI, so only for this area, if I say about this axis, I know it is second moment of area. So matlab area into y is for x axis MI. If I am asking you to find MI about y axis, you will say area into perpendicular distance x into perpendicular distance x, do bar. Correct? But if I'm telling about differential area, matlab the moment of inertia of differential element of area dA about any axis is defined as the product of, right? Product of the area into twice the distance, right? That is second moment of area. Second moment of area. Now for this, let us write the equation. Say I want to write mi of this elemental area about x-axis axis. So because this is elemental area, the moment of inertia also becomes elemental. So dIxx. Now moment of inertia is denoted by I always. Okay. So dIxx I will write. Ixx because along the x-axis axis. So d because it is for elemental area. dIxx is given by, as I stated, definition, it is the second moment of area. What was that equation? Area into distance into distance. Barabar? So यहाँ पे put area into distance into distance. So I will have dA, that is the elemental area, into, what is the perpendicular distance when I'm talking about x-axis? dA to x-axis, what is the perpendicular distance?
Y bar.
Y bar. So it is going to be y bar into y bar, right? So if I denote this as only y and not y bar, so this is going to be y square into dA, correct? Y square into dA, that is dIxx, or if I want only Ixx, I will have to integrate this. So it becomes what? Integration of y square dA. This d I want to take off, so it becomes integration. So Ixx is integration of y square into, I wrote ulta, dA. Okay, so this is the generalized equation for Ixx. Now same, on the same lines, if I ask you to write the generalized equation for Iyy. Okay, say I want to write for Iyy here. Now Iyy, look into the figure. So it is going to be second moment of area, area into twice the distance. So area is given by dA. It's not visible. Okay, dA into, what is the perpendicular distance for y-axis?
X bar.
X bar, right? So we can write it as x bar into x bar. Instead of x bar, if I call it as x, it is going to be x square into dA. So Iyy is dIyy, sorry, elemental, is x square into dA, or Iyy is integration of x square into dA. Clear? Same as the definition. Second moment of area. Area hai, 2 times distance hai, that is second moment of area. Clear? So these two are the main equations. Now because in the figure, if you see, I have also spoken of the polar coordinate. So polar coordinate would be IZZ, right? So DIZZ would be equal to what? dA into perpendicular distance. Abhi perpendicular distance in the figure is how much? R. So R into R. So you have IZZ going to be equal to integration of R square into dA. This is going to be called as polar MI, polar moment of inertia. Clear? So everywhere the definitions are same. One, I will just write Ixx, Iyy, Izz is already there. So when I'm writing Ixx, observe, when I'm writing for x-axis, the perpendicular distance would be y square, y. When I'm writing Iyy, the perpendicular distance is x square. Okay, so Ixx is integration of y square dA, Iyy is integration of x square dA. Using this, we have some derivations to be done. We will take up a derivation in this class only, right? So this is about the generalized equation of moment of inertia. Then you have an important terminology called radius of gyration. Okay, radius of gyration. Now what is this radius of gyration? I need this figure back for that. Okay, so in this particular figure, now I know the Ixx and Iyy value for this figure with the elemental area A, dA for the entire area A, and its Cj distances x and y and r for the polar, right? Now, if this area, I will, concentrate into a strip, area will remain same. Abhi say for example, I have a triangle. Triangle's area is what? Half base into height. So you get say 20 meters square as the area of the triangle. I can remold the triangle and I will make it into a rectangle such that its area is also 20 meters square. So what I did, I have the same area but different shape. So what we will do, we have to concentrate this area into a thin strip which will have the same area, something like this. Say we have concentrated it into a strip which will have the same area A. Okay, and consider this as your reference axis. Okay, this point being O. Now I have a value for Ixx, say it was integration of y square into dA, right? Ixx is integration of y square into dA, so I've got the value of Ixx. If I know the area, then directly I can substitute it as y square into A. Correct? dA because elemental tha. If I know the area, it will be y square into A, right? So Ixx is y square into A. Now I have to get the same moment of inertia in this case also. So to get the same moment of inertia, I have to position this, right? So I have to get the exact y at which the moment of inertia will be same value as that of this figure, correct? So to get that, when I position it at a particular distance, say that distance is kxx, this distance kxx is called as the radius of gyration. And how do I get it? So according to this figure, now Ixx is going to be what? Second moment of area. So area into perpendicular distances kxx into kxx. That is Ixx is going to be equal to kxx the whole square into area. What is kxx going to be then? It is going to be Ixx divided by A under root. Right? So this kxx is called as the radius of gyration. Okay, to explain radius of gyration, you will get it for 5 marks sometimes. Question papers, if you see, they'll ask you to define 3 or 4 marks or 5 marks also. So even if it is 3 or 4, these both diagrams have to be put, this diagram and this diagram. So how the explanation goes is, if the area shown in this figure is concentrated into a thin strip of same area and placed parallel to x-axis at a distance kxx such that it will get the same mi as that of figure 1, then this distance kxx is called as radius of gyration. And it is obtained by what? So using the general formula of moment of inertia, Ixx is second moment of area. So area into 2 times of perpendicular distance. From that I will get the value of kxx, that is Ixx by A. So also you can define radius of gyration as, it is defined as under root the ratio of moment of inertia divided by the total area. Okay, so 2 definitions. One, you can explain this and write. Lastly, you can also define it using the formula. Under root I by A is called as kxx. So looking at this kxx, so Ixx. I can also write for kyy. Kyy would be what? It is going to be Iyy by A. If I'm asking you to calculate kzz, then you will write Izz divided by A. Clear? So these are your radius of gyration, which is got by the formula under root I by A. In general, I will call it as under root I by A. Hope this is clear. Any doubts with radius of gyration? These, some theory parts are there which are important. Okay. Any doubts with this? No? Yes, no? You can put it into the chat box, please.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Next, there are 2 theorems coming into picture, perpendicular axis theorem and parallel axis theorem. Okay, both of them are important. We'll do one by one today. So first, I will take up perpendicular axis theorem. Perpendicular axis theorem. What is this perpendicular axis theorem? I'll go back to my generalized figure. I draw it once again. So this was some area. In that we considered elemental area of dA. The elemental area CG is this. So from here to here it is y. From here to here perpendicular distance is x. From here to here perpendicular distance is r. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, and this is going to be our z-axis. Correct? Same figure. Now, for perpendicular axis theorem, the moment of inertia of an area about the axis perpendicular to the planes at any point is going to be equal to the sum of these two moment of inertias. Matlab kya? In short words, if I want to tell you, the third plane. Now, you all of you agree x, y, and z are always mutually perpendicular to each other. All of them are having 90 degrees between them. So 3D figure x, y, z are three planes which are mutually perpendicular to each other. So if I have the value of ixx, that is moment of inertia about x axis. If I have the value of Iyy, that is moment of inertia about y-axis, then I can easily get for the third perpendicular plane, that is Izz, as the sum of moment of inertias about the other two axes. So Izz is going to be the sum of Ixx plus Iyy. This is the statement for the perpendicular axis theorem. Because we are talking of perpendicularity here, that is all three planes are perpendicular to each other. So the third plane's moment of inertia can be obtained by the summation of these two. So if I tell it in statements, technical statements, the moment of inertia of an area about an axis perpendicular to its plane, that is polar mi, at any point is going to be equal to the sum of the moment of inertias about the other two mutually axis at the same point, means their point of occurrence is same, right? So this is your perpendicular axis theorem statement, and this is the statement put up in terms of formula. I have to prove this, right? So state and prove, they'll ask perpendicular axis. So when you're going to prove, then you will first describe this figure. Consider a area, or consider an area of A in a xy plane as shown in the figure, and the polar mi, right, about z axis is going to be or passing through O is got by Izz is Ixx plus Iyy. I have to prove for this. Now for proving, let's take one by one. So tell me, what is Izz in standardized format for this elemental area dA? It is going to be second moment of second moment of area about this point. So perpendicular distances are, so it is integration of dA into r. Agree? Integration of dA into r. So if I write this rearranging, it becomes r square into dA, and we are aware of this. Izz is r square into dA. Now what we do? Look into this figure. This is the same CG. This is x, this is y, this is r. Now look at this figure. If this is x, this also is going to be x. If this is y, this also is going to be y. So look at this right angle triangle. From the right angle triangle, what is r square going to be equal to? Can I write an equation for r square? Pythagoras theorem.
X square plus y square.
Yes. So from the figure, r square is going to be x square plus y square. Correct? So let us substitute this here. So therefore, Izz is going to be equal to x square plus y square into dA. Correct? I substituted for r square as x square plus y square. This, let us open. dA into x square, dA into y square. So I'll have x square into dA, correct? Plus y square into dA. This is your Izz. What is x square dA? What is x square dA?
Iyy.
Iyy. So this is Iyy, and this is what? Ixx. So proof is done. Simple it is. Perpendicular axis theorem. Izz is Ixx plus Iyy. This is the proof. Only so much. You have to remember this figure x, y, r. Okay, and put it into this. R square you get first. R square for substitute. Open the brackets. You will get Izz is Ixx plus Iyy. Definition of perpendicular axis theorem: the moment of inertia or the polar moment of inertia is given by the sum of the moment of inertias of the other two perpendicular axes. Clear? Any doubt with perpendicular axis theorem? Any doubt? No? No doubts? Okay. So once we are done with perpendicular axis theorem, we have something called as parallel axis theorem. Perpendicular and parallel. So next one we'll take parallel axis theorem. What is this parallel axis theorem? So according to parallel axis theorem, the moment of inertia of the area about any axis other than the plane we have to find. So now what we were doing, we had a figure. Where is our figure? See, we were finding xx, this was yy, and there was an area, and we found the mi about ixx, that is along x-axis and along y-axis. Now I'll give you some other axis apart from x and y, say AB. I want to know the moment of inertia of this area about this AB. How do we get? So to find this mi of any figure apart from the ixx or iyy to any other plane, say AB, we use parallel axis theorem. And parallel axis theorem statement will go later. I'll explain first what it is. So consider a area, okay, and it will have a CG point. Say this is the G is the CG point of that particular area. In that, let us consider a elemental area again. So this elemental area is given by dA. And I want to find the mi of this area about a reference axis AB. So AB is a reference axis where I want to find the mi. And obviously, if this is the centroid and I have a horizontal axis passing through the centroid, that would be my x axis, generally parallel. So we can just call it some, OO axis, something like this for now. So this distance, I will call it as D. That is the distance between the CG and the reference axis is D. Okay. And now this DA elemental area and there is the CG. So distance between these two, let us call it as Y1. Okay. Let us call the distance between these two as Y1. Clear? And this total distance from this point to this point, I will call it as y. Right? I need the distances because when we are doing MI, basically we'll be dealing with the distances. So I want to find the moment of inertia about this point. This is my centroidal axis, right? And this is the elemental area. So distance between centroidal axis and elemental area is y1. And distance between centroidal axis and the reference axis, that is called d. And from here to here, that is y1 plus d is going to be your y. Okay, so consider a area A with a centroid G as shown in the figure to find the mi about AB. Consider elemental area DA at a distance of y1 from AB. Sorry, at y1 from OO and y from AB. Okay, now from this, if I want to write IAB using a generalized formula of moment of inertia about of this elemental area about AB. How do you write? IAB is integration of what? I want mi of this area about AB. So how do you write? Which distance I take?
Y square.
Yeah, y square into dA. Correct? Y square into dA. But we know that y is what? It is y1 plus d. Substitute for that. So IAB now becomes integration of y1 plus d into dA. This is square. y1 plus d the whole square. A plus b the whole square open. It is a square plus b square plus 2ab. So integration of y1 square plus d square plus 2y1 into d into dA. Am I right? So I open the brackets. Now once we open this, each of it we will separate it and open it up with the dA. So now IAB becomes what? Integration of y1 square into dA plus integration of d square into dA plus integration of 2y1d into dA. Simply open the brackets, nothing extra. Now, what do you understand by this? Where is this generalized equation? Forget everything. Integration of y square dA is what? Something like your xx. Yes, ixx. That is, your in this figure, if I say this is x-axis and IAB is parallel to x-axis. Correct? So I will call it as IG. Instead of xx, I will call it as IG. Okay, that is I self. Plus d square into A, integration is there, no? So d square into A, if I know the area, say I know the area, not the elemental area. If I know the area, directly I will write it as A into d square. because I know the value of the area. Say if I have a rectangle, so I will be able to write the dA. Rectangle's area is going to be b into d. So I can get this value and left up with only this part. Okay, that I will write it as 0. Y0, that is integration. 2 goes outside. Y1 into d, I'm writing it as 0. Why? Because y1 into d. Look at the figure. Now, there could be a point where this CG is going to coincide with this CG. This is a generalized diagram which I have drawn, and I've shown that the dA is at some distance y1 from the centroidal axis. But there could be a point where this and this are going to coincide. If they coincide, what happens to y value? Yes? What happens to y value if they coincide? Say this is on this only now. So what is happening to y value? Quickly in the chat box. It is 1 or 0?
Zero.
0. So if that y is 0, if this is 0, so this entire term becomes 0. That's why this term is taken as 0. So now if I look at only the IAB, what we are left up with? So IAB is going to be equal to IG plus AD square. IB equal to IG plus AD square. What is IG? IG is the moment of inertia about the axis parallel to AB. So in our case, it is if I say this is XX axis, so IXX, right? So IG can also, in some textbooks, they will write it as I self. Okay, IAB is I self plus AD square. So we have numericals wherein we'll be using this parallel axis theorem in solving the given MI numerical. Okay, so IG is also called as I self. Clear? So if I want to find the moment of inertia about any axis other than the centroidal axis, then it is going to be the sum of the centroidal axis plus AD square. For example, I will take why it is called as in parallel axis only. Say I have a rectangle. So rectangle CG is this. These are going to be XX and YY. Correct? So this is the CG. If I want to find somewhere here, I'll call this as AB. I want to find the MI about this point. So IAB is going to be I self. Matlab parallel to this is what? X-axis. Right? So I self, that is IXX plus area of this A. D is going to be distance of the CG of this to this point. Okay, that is D. AD square is your IAB. So again, we have numericals and derivations with respect to this. Clear? So this is about your perpendicular axis theorem. And if I want to define the perpendicular axis theorem, this one, the MI of any area about, or the MI of any area about x-axis or about any axis is in its plane is the sum of MI about the parallel axis passing through the centroid plus the product of area into the perpendicular distance between them. So this is the statement for the parallel axis theorem, and the formula is I self plus AD square or IG plus AD square, where I self and IG are nothing but MI about centroidal axis. Clear? Any doubt till here? Did you understand? You'll have to go through and solve, only then you will be a little comfortable. Okay, so
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, tell Karthik.
Ma'am, it should be MD square, right?
Which one, Baba?
Ma'am, IG plus MD square.
What is M?
Mass.
Mass. We are not dealing only no mass. We are dealing with area only everywhere.
Ma'am, but inertia is the second moment of mass, right?
Second moment of area. I didn't use mass only, in fact. Don't go to
Ma'am,
inertia,
but
inertia force. Nahi. You're talking of inertia force, right?
yes, ma'am.
Inertia force is different. Okay. Don't mix that inertia, what you study in physics, with this inertia. Even we have that inertia, we give the example, best example for that is moving bus, right? So what happens in a moving bus when we apply a brake? We move front or back?
Front.
We move front. Why? Because we were moving front only. Our body was in motion and we applied brake, so body still tries to go in front only. Similarly, when suddenly it starts, we move back because we were at rest and we want to be at rest. So the vehicle is moving, we are moving back like that. So that is an inertia force. That is different. Okay. This is moment of inertia is different. This is with respect to area. So second moment of area. Don't write mass, huh? Please, you will not get marks. Second moment
Okay,
of
ma'am.
area. We deal only with areas. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Good question though, Karthik. So we'll take up first derivation. Here also, no, we have derivation for standard cases like how we had for CG, no, rectangle, triangle, etc. यहाँ पे भी है. So we'll take up the first one. How much is possible in 10 minutes? Next 10 minutes we will do. So determine the MI, moment of inertia, for the rectangle. Sometimes the question will be like, determine the MI by integration. Obviously, we are going to integrate because our main equation is integration. So he will use the term integration from the first principles they will write. First principles means this only what we are doing, right? So that also can be a possibility. So don't come out of the examination hall saying, madam didn't teach us that. She never said only first principles, right? So now for this, I will do, okay, we will do the derivation. So I need rectangle, let us draw a rectangle, and we will locate the CG of the rectangle. So here is your CG of the rectangle. Agree? We have done last week CG. So this is the centroid, correct? If I say B is the breadth and D is the depth, okay? B is the breadth and D is the depth. What is this distance going to be? How much is this?
D by 2.
D by 2, D by 2, correct. And what about this? CG, no? So B by 2, B by,
B by 2.
yeah, correct. Then this is my centroidal axis because CG hai, so axis passing through that CG is called a centroid. So XX and YY, right? And let us consider an elemental strip here like this, because they have told by integration, so I have to take elemental strip and integrate, right? So let us consider elemental strip of width dy, okay, of width dy at a distance y from the CG. इसीलिए बोला CG is important. If you don't know how to find the CG, moment of inertia goes damar, because I need everywhere this CG and the distance of the CG from that particular area. So to locate, I should know where the CG is lying, right? So let Y be the distance between this elemental area and the CG of the figure. Okay, is the diagram clear? So B and D are its dimensions. So CG is here, B by 2, D by 2 पे. Consider elemental area dy, उसका breadth कितना होगा? B, and it is at a distance Y from the centroidal axis. You will write all this in the first 4 lines. Consider a rectangle of dimensions, etc., etc., etc. Clear? Now, based on our equation or the definition of moment of inertia, what is dIxx? What is moment of inertia about xx of this elemental area? It is area into the distance twice, right? So what is dIxx? Area is what? dA. Agree? Area of this elemental area is dA. What is the perpendicular distance from this to this? It is y square. So dA into y square. Correct? So dIxx is given by dA into y square, or you can also write it as dIxx equal to y square into dA. Correct? Now what is dA? Elemental area. From the figure, for dA I can write d into dy. That is length into breadth because it is a rectangle, d into dy. Therefore, dIxx I can now write it as y square into dA instead of dA, I will write it as b into dy. I'll substitute for dA, b into dy. Okay, so now if I want ixx, right, it is going to be integration of this, that is y square into b into dy. Right, now because dy is an elemental area, I have limits for that. So what are the limits for this? For this rectangle, the limit is going to be from this point to this point. So here it is, this is my centroidal axis. So I'll put the limits as minus d by 2 to plus d by 2. Okay. So minus d by 2 to plus d by 2. Something like in sector of a circle, you know, minus alpha to plus alpha, like that. So limits are going to be minus d by 2 to plus d by 2 of y square b into dy. Okay. Open the brackets. Now b is a constant, it comes out. Y square becomes what? Y cube by 3 and minus d by 2 to plus d by 2. Substitute for these two. What happens? B by 3, I'll take it out. So y cube matlab d by 2 the whole cube minus of minus d by 2 the whole cube, which becomes plus, right? So what are we left up? B by 3 is there as it is. This becomes d cube by this 2, 2s are 4, 2s are 8, 8, 8, like that, add twice of that. So this becomes 4. So what is this final now? Ixx is going to be b d cube, 4 3s are 12, b d cube by 12. So Ixx is b d cube by 12 for this rectangle. Ixx means xx is passing, xx is along the centroid. Now based on this, okay, that is no need to derive for I by y. So looking at this only, I can write I by y. Look again, Ixx means b d cube. So xx से parallel क्या है? b है. So b d cube. So based on that, if I want to write I by y, वो क्या होगा? Any guesses? What is I by y? I want I by y. So parallel to that is what? D. Correct? So I by y can be written as db cube by 12. Okay, you can just write it as similarly. No need to do this entire thing, or no need to consider elemental strip which is vertical. That is okay. You should just show for Ixx with elemental strip. For I by y, you do db cube by 12. Okay, any doubts with this? bd cube by 12 and db cube by 12. Now I have to also find for IAB. We will do it in the next class. I will retain these papers and we will do it in the next class. Any doubts till now?